Are you bad at Marvel Snap? Yeah, welcome to the party. We're all trying to improve at Marvel Snap, and that's why I started this video series where we all try to get good at the game, particularly if you're someone who's never hit infinite ranks before. I'm hopeful this series can help you learn little nuances, little gameplay tips here and there to help you see the lines and finally make your way to infinite. And to aid us in that goal, we've got viewer submitted gameplay. These are games from all of you out there, players who have yet to hit infinite but wanted to share their losses with us so that we could review them and see if there were some opportunities to maybe increase our odds of winning any given game. You can't win every game of Marvel Snap, but you can often maximize your chances to win in a given game. And today we're reviewing some games from Cakeyeater, who played this Thanos Destroy deck, which, keep in mind, this footage is actually pretty old at this stage, and we're going to see some cards that have since been changed since they recorded this, but nonetheless should still give us a nice eye into the mind of Keiki and how exactly we might have found some moments in these games to improve our chances a little bit. And I have to say, Keiki here wasn't far off. There's someone who's hit rank 85 before, and there weren't like any catastrophic mistakes being made in this video. Just some little moments here and there where I think we could have perhaps improved our odds just a little. As always, be very kind in these comments. Keiki took the time to record this and had the bravery to share it with the world. And if you're a dick about it, and if you make fun of their plays or try to shame them, I will delete you from existence on this YouTube channel forever. So be respectful, be kind. We're all just trying to get a little bit better here. I'll learn from you guys. Hopefully you'll learn a little bit from me along the way, and hopefully we can all join each other together in infinite ranks soon as we see Cakeyeater playing this cool Thanos Destroy deck. Oh, and real quick, I need more games for future videos in this series. So if you want to submit your gameplay, there's a link down in the description with some instructions. Namely, I'm looking for people who have never hit infinite. I need roughly 3 to 5 games that you've recorded, and there should be losses. I need like 3 or more losses at least. So many of you submitted like 5 or 6 wins in a row of you just stomping people, and like, congrats, but that's sometimes hard to learn from a little bit. If the game went really smoothly, there are less things to learn a little sometimes, but I need losses. So be brave, share those losses, and certainly we'll all appreciate that, and you'll be famous here on YouTube and maybe made fun of a little bit, but you're brave, you can handle it. So that said, let's jump into these games. All right, so Nova left looks totally fine here. Safe place to play it. We know there's no interruptions, nothing's gonna mess that up. We definitely want to spend our energy, so that's good. Quick note, this is actually pretty old footage. I think it was actually old when they got sent to me, and then it's been a few weeks since I've actually been able to get to it, so keep in mind Soulstone here is unnerfed. This is pre the Soulstone nerf, and as you can see, Snowguard is also, this is from a while ago, because Snowguard's change here is pretty old. Snowguard transforming in hand still at this stage, not adding cards to hand. But should be fine. We'll still have a lot to learn from this, even though the footage is out of date. So important, like cycling Soulstone, totally worth it when you're drawing cards in particular. I think that's absolutely fine. A big house is a good place to put this, because it might be a little bit hard for this deck to otherwise put power into big house. Now, you could be already looking a little bit at Lake Hellas and thinking about, like, okay, I want to set up for a big Venom, so I'm going to put all my 1-drops into Lake Hellas and set up for that Venom later. You hope that in a Thanos deck that's not a problem, and then you'll have plenty of 1-drops to play, but just something to keep in mind. The Snowguard can also sort of serve that purpose as well. So Nexus pops up, and we've got a Green Goblin, which is just perfect for Nexus. Could be really useful, just limit them out. Now that said, they are a Wolverine deck, which means they might have destroy effects of their own. So you could maybe try to save your Green Goblin until you think it's going to be the final card in the Nexus, but it's just really hard to time that, and really risky as well, because if you miss, you might end up with it yourself. You can maybe clear it with a Carnage, but anyway, the opponent may be able to eat off that Goblin without really any downside. If they have a Carnage or whatever, you might just be fueling their Carnage. So there is some perhaps logic to waiting. If we see like a Bucky Barnes or something pop up here, you're gonna be like, oh no, God. Dakin's good though, because they probably don't want to eat the Dakin. So that's kind of a relief, I guess. That's kind of nice. So Reality Stone here. Oh, playing it into Nexus. Interesting. I feel like we're in a decent spot for Nexus. We have Thanos, which is big. We've already given the opponent a Green Goblin. It's true that our Venom and Carnage don't really stack up to much at the moment. So, and I don't actually know the full deck list at this stage either. So it may be true that we're not very good at like going over the top of that Dakin, for instance. I mean, okay, I'm going to trust that they know the deck well enough to know that this Reality Stone is well placed. I would think we're still in a decent position for Nexus, particularly given that Thanos. We got that Nova, which can kind of buff stuff in Nexus as well. I might just start playing like Snowguard Carnage over there and just going for it. Little off curve, obviously. Oh, Reality Stone Carnage instead. Okay, so we're going to turn off the Nexus and just try to go. Now, see, that to me is like less interesting because like you think that Dakin's going to get big. Can Carnage keep up? You don't necessarily want to go 1-to-1 at that Dakin unless you're going to fully commit. And if you fully commit, you're going to want the Nexus there because you're trying to win elsewhere. Right? But, you know, nothing here is sacred. Nothing here is like 100%. That's actually fine as well if you're going to turn off the Nexus. I'm fine, I think, with just developing mid more. Carnage is pretty big there. It would have been kind of nice to be able to do the same play with Lake Hellas instead, though, with Venom, where everything's getting buffed. Because, like, you know, you can make those stats from Lake Hellas permanent in the Venom. And when you throw away the Snow Guard, you lose one of the potential feeders as we're getting towards the end of the game. So if I were going to play Snow Guard plus an Eat, particularly on 4 energy this turn, I think I would have just held on to the Reality Stone and I would have played Snow Guard plus Venom left. You would have lost a little bit of Nova upside, certainly. Because your Nova wouldn't have a lot of targets to hit, but might just be cleaner as well. Shadowland, okay. That would actually have been great for your Carnage. Not as good for Venom. The opponent is getting a little kind of locked up over there, but that Dakin's doing a lot of work right now. Snowguard activating, turning these off. That shouldn't really matter much on any given turn 5 here. I think that's fine. So, okay, they actually got some great top decks for the Venom anyways. But Lake Hellas is turned off! No, this is a little bit of a backfire. Hard one perhaps to anticipate. And the thing is, you can't really wait either because I think you have to spend your energy here. I would probably still play both of these left and go for the Venom, but man, it does sting a little bit. Oh, not playing the Venom at all on turn 5. Now see, this I really don't like. You're not going to have enough bonus energy next turn to play both. So you're just kind of floating this 3 energy. I mean, if nothing else, why not just add 3 power to the board? Because you can't play Thanos and Venom. You don't maybe anticipate your Venom having as much upside next turn because it's like it's going to be hard to outpower just the power that Thanos provides. So the Snow Guard is an unfortunate kind of thing. You can't feel too bad about the Snow Guard turning off Lake Hellas, but imagine if you had all these 1-drops left and you were able to Venom them. You know, thinking this, you know, keeping this in mind from 3 or 4 turns ago might have made a really big difference in how this game unfolded, because your Venom would basically be like +9 and you would still, you know, you'd still be able to play more there later potentially if you had any 1-drops left. So I don't know, that does feel like a bit of a lost opportunity. The opponent is just balling out left now too with all their 1-drops. So I mean, yeah, moving Ninja there. This doesn't give you any upside though on your Nova. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like wrong with what's happening here from this stage of the game, right? Like you're trying to attack the Deathlock, which makes sense. You know, Bucky plus Venom, that's not bad at all. You got, you know, 6 and 6, that's 12 power. It's reasonable to contest the Deathlock. Not a huge advantage, only 7. I'm thinking back like, man, a Venom last turn plus a Thanos this turn might have just ended up being a little bit better. I don't know. The Bucky's pretty good though, so it's just hard to win from this position because you feel like, to me, left was really a lost opportunity, you know? This is one of those games where so much kind of went wrong, but nothing was like objectively wrong. It just kind of snowballed out of control. Like you Green Goblin on Nexus, which feels really good, but then you turn off Nexus. And you Snow Guard, which turns off Lake Hellas, which, you know, denies you the ability to make a really big Venom. Because you could have made like, you know, 12 power Venom left and then drop some ones behind it and actually done some work. So it's weird because there's just a lot of opportunity in this game. And I don't know that anything went like objectively wrong. It just feels like with some slightly different lines here and there would have been so much more opportunity. All right, District X. Okay, good news is, oh, well, Mindstone's actually garbage in District X. Really unfortunate location roll. Man, that's tough. We can still get out of this game, though. Sometimes games like this are the best ones to play through because you just, you know, you learn a lot. So Soulstone's really, really good. That still draws a card. Master Mold, I would actually be hesitant to play that. Giving the opponent good stuff to do in a District X game is really risky. I would play the Cable 100% instead. The only reason I'd ever play the Master Mold here is if I thought I just had to fill my curve. But since you got Cable to fill your curve anyway, you just 100% play the Cable. This gives you more choices. You might hit a really good 3-drop or something. And this gives the opponent fill. Fill is so valuable at District X. I'm not saying the name fill. Things that fill your turn, because you hit such random garbage in District X. Having just solid 2/3s you can play every single turn really help you fill in your curve. So Master Mold doesn't have any downside really in these matchups, and it has all upside. So I would not play that. I would have played the Cable all day, particularly just to get a look at it faster. You never know what you're gonna hit. Just random garbage, but it might be something really nice. That is a very powerful card, not an on curve one. See, like, you've already helped the opponent fill their curve. They may not have had this. That Iron Fist is intriguing here because they can't really... Oh, they can still play the Raft, actually. No, that's fine. It resolves after they reveal, so they'll still be able to stage 4 cards here. So they might get a Raft because we gave them Sentinel. You know what I mean? They may not have had a way to do this otherwise. They may match us on Raft now because they can play another Sentinel and then another cheap 2-drop maybe. They might not have had these. And it may not happen. And Venom, by the way, is fantastic for us here to clear out space. That's great that we can get the Raft without losing our ability to contest. That's really, really good. Okay, luckily they didn't have that other 2-drop, so it's just a Sentinel or something perhaps bigger. So we get the Raft bonus. Like, how do we ever lose this game? Like, our hand is insane. I just don't see how we lose this game. Bifrost. Okay, so we can actually just play here in the final turn and always win this position. Like, just dump a Chavez late. We never lose this. So how do we lose? We just Iron Man and maybe even Iron Man, Chavez, and Magneto here, so we don't accidentally pull like Miles and get life to be weird. There's no way to lose this. I would just Iron Man mid because it's just bonus power probably. I mean, no, why? No, we have Iron Man. Iron Man is always worth at least 9, and stature is only ever worth 6. I guess I don't understand why the stature of the Iron Man. You're not worried about things like Enchantress hitting you in this because it's, you know, random garbage. Like, yes, it can happen, but you don't play around it. If I'm gonna play stature instead of Iron Man, I definitely stagger these two, I think, because you want to contest as many locations as you can. If you're playing Iron Man, it's more about like total power and trying to zone in on one place. If it's stature, you're probably trying to split to make the opponent's life awkward. But this should still be an easy win. The opponent reveals first, so I think we just Iron Man right and Chavez mid. Chavez mid's a little risky though, because the opponent could go up to 10 here. This is why I wish we had an Iron Man, because an Iron Man mid plus a Magneto mid would be, you know, 24 or what, 28 power, which they would never catch. So even if you pulled the Miles over, you don't care because you have 28 and then the 9 here wins because they really only have 10 and you've got 16. So, or even less with Miles moving potentially. Oh man. Oh, this suddenly became losable when I feel like Iron Man just makes it so winnable. So, but this still looks very winnable to me. I think you still just play Magneto mid and Chavez right. Magneto mid, it does pull the Miles that puts the opponent at 10, but you're at 20, so they have to play a 10 plus power card mid, which is so unlikely. If the Silk moves over into mid, you're fine, that doesn't matter. Won't move mid if they play a card and you Miles. So it's just the Magneto mid and the Chavez right still wins you this game a vast majority of the time. I don't know. It would be so hard for the opponent to win with a play mid. This is actually fine too if you want to just... Oh, that's not it, right? I mean, that actually is fine though, technically, right? I mean, this looks fine. How do you lose this? Really? How do you lose this, I wonder? This looks so fine to me. Horg plus Spider-Man. Pulling the Chavez. Wow. Wow. That's actually insane. Okay. And then Silk moves mid and we lose. Yeah. That Spider-Man actually does complicate things a lot. I'm not even sure, like, that Spider-Man could have technically beat any of our previous lines as well, like Iron Man, Magneto. I'm not sure I like the Mojo anyway, though, because it's just like, it's so conditional that things can go wrong, you know what I mean? Magneto just feels safer in a lot of ways, but if it had pulled the Magneto, we still would have been in trouble. I don't know, though, they revealed first, so actually if it pulled the Magneto would have pulled the Miles over, which I guess still wouldn't have saved the mid, would have only been at 8 power. Iron Man, Magneto, Iron Man, Chavez would have been with the same amount of risk. So I don't know, Spider-Man might have made their life hard, but I will say there's 9 power and Sentinels on board that we just gave them. We didn't even need to play this Master Mold. I mean, yes, technically we played the Cable, like, you know, we filled our curve a little bit, but gosh, yeah, boy. It's hard to say that we would have won this game with 100% certainty with different lines, but it sure feels like we would have won it 90% of the time. And this way we won it, you know, 50% of the time or something. Like how many percentage points could we have gained if we'd played this game differently? It's the interesting thing. All right, so here we have a TVA game. Wow, okay. Yeah, here is just about getting stuff into play. And we want to play Wolverine Carnage. I'm fine with Power Stone left here. The opponent usually plays a card left if they're going to play one on turn 1, and your 1-drop's bigger than your opponent's very often. Like most of them are 2 power. So I like Power Stone left, but it kind of doesn't matter too much. This is just Wolverine Carnage all day. That's fine. I would absolutely just play Mind Stone Carnage here. Time Stone's a little spooky. Oh man, they're matching with a Thanos stack. Okay, so the Power Stone actually would have matched a Power Stone. That's funny. Oh, Rickety Bridge is tough, but could be amazing for Wolverine if he can hit it. There's definitely nothing wrong with the Carnage hitting the Mind Stone here. Like, that's fine. You know, the 6 power Carnage is a big deal. That's nice and big. It makes you feel really safe in hub. But I also do like just having it left. Sometimes just the fact that the opponent has to contest a location has so much value that even though the net power on Carnage here is higher if it eats Mind Stone, I wonder if just having the spread is a little bit more interesting. Now, importantly, you know you're going to have 3 stones next turn to play, which does mean you're going to have a almost full curve no matter what. You can always put one on Rickety Bridge. It's really about trying to win the other spot as big as possible for a tiebreaker's sake, which is a pretty good argument for the Carnage here, actually. So I'm okay with Carnage in Mind Stone if I really break it down. Not sure the opponent had time to logic that out, or the Cakeyeater here had time to logic that out, but they might have. I'm cool with it anyway. The result is the same. Oh, Reality Stone adds an interesting wrinkle to this game as well. Oh, that's a great hit for our Wolverine. Bonus Wolverine stats all day. Is this going to be a Carnage, I guess? Yeah, so their Carnage got even bigger. Pretty crazy good Carnage for them. That Greenstone did some work here. So we're up 12-8 here. Oh, that Bucky Wright. Are you kidding me? Crazy good. We never turn off TVA, I think, is my answer. Bucky Wright either wins at 1 or hopefully wins at 6. We're ahead 12-8 on total power for any kind of tiebreaker scenario. I'm totally fine with this line. There's some argument maybe to tying the Carnage mid and just trying to win the flanks on either tiebreakers or just winning them. We didn't see the opponent play a Reality Stone, so one consideration we should probably make is, are they going to turn off TVA? which, I mean, if they do, that's fine. We'll keep going. We're not in a bad spot if they do necessarily. We're still in a good spot. Bucky would still be a card we expect to activate in that case. Time Stone, Space Stone, Deathlock's pretty good. Oh, Death. Oh my god, Death wins the Death wins left, man. So see, this would have been a little bit of a reason to go mid. We actually would have tied this game. We would have been 8-8 and then 6-6, and it would have been a tie instead of a loss. Yeah, that death actually is pretty brutal, to be honest. That's a good hit from them. Again, I don't think this is like crazy bad or wrong necessarily. If you trust your 8-0, I kind of trusted it too, but as I said, there are reasons to tie that Carnage mid. It would have been exact math too, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, tough game, man. Tough game. This is one you expect to win a lot as a Thanos deck like this. If the opponent had good hits too, dude. That full Carnage was nuts, and the death here was nuts too. That's a bit of a tough break. So let's move over to game 2. We've got Asteroid M. So this is always an interesting location because your Killmonger's going here, for instance. You may not need to play cards there because a lot are going to get very naturally deposited. You've got Death with some 1-drop action though. So yeah, this Soul Stone can kind of go anywhere here. I think it's a hard call. You don't necessarily want it in Asteroid M because you know stuff's going to move. So having it elsewhere can be nice. Spot 3 is totally fine in my book. I would probably tempo Wolverine left here because you can play a Deathlock there anyway, you know. Play Deathlock mid too. It's fine. It doesn't actually matter. It's fine. Those are both fine. Just playing the cards is the important part. I would absolutely go ahead and put the Deathlock down here. Vormir is really not too bad for us. We can throw away a cheap stone. Let's put the Space Stone there. It would have been kind of nice if that popped up for the Wolverine. That had been number 2, but it's okay. You don't hold the Wolverine just on the hopes that a random Vormir pops up, right? Magic turns it off anyway. Okay, so turn 7 game means we know we can take a little bit longer. We've got some time this game. We're probably going to see much of our deck, which is nice. I guess we want this Wolverine to go, well, anywhere's fine, probably. No Venom right now, so it doesn't matter too much. Okay, so Killmonger, we would definitely want to wait on here a little bit. We actually want to get more stones in the pool for Killmonger anyway. So I'm probably playing Space Stone, Power Stone, and Bucky here. And I'm probably just putting Bucky right because I know I got a Wolverine over there. I'm hopeful to find some way to eat that Carnage or Venom soon. And then probably playing the stones, maybe mid, maybe left. Probably doesn't matter too much. So this is interesting. Power Stone goes right. Bucky and Space Stone go mid. I would also maybe consider holding this Power Stone on the notion that this is a turn 7 game. We actually have a higher than normal likelihood that a Thanos could stick. And you're only floating 1 energy here because you got the Bucky anyway, so it's not like you're desperate for plays. So I might actually play Bucky right, Space Stone left, and not play this Power Stone. Okay, they're sticking with the play. Well, they're thinking about the same thing, kind of not playing the Power Stone or not. Okay, they're having a similar thought. I like that it's being debated. I think that's reasonable, yeah. They're probably trying to calculate like how playable Death will be. Currently, you can destroy 3 1-drops, so Death costs 4. So if you played Killmonger on 5, you could definitely still play Death pretty affordably in the near future. So see, there's that Venom. I think we want to go with that Bucky Barnes. Sadly, that Widow's Bite is very annoying. So I would move Wolverine mid now and play the Venom. So the Venom actually kind of bailed them out of this Strange Academy, because now Strange Academy is really not such a problem. Probably throw the Widow's Bite left because there's more power left. So playing the Power Stone this turn but not last turn is interesting. To me, the calculus hasn't really changed much. And it still has a chance to lock you outright pretty hard. I don't know. Oh, actually, the Venom moving left. I'm not sure I do want the Widow's Bite left now that I say that. I don't know if there is a good spot for it to go, to be honest, though. You gotta play it. Maybe you play it right. Yeah, maybe, but then we'd be locked out right as well. The good news is the opponent's really locked up left, so it's actually fine for now. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, I need to pause here. I think this is actually fine. There's some arguments playing the Killmongers. You can play the Death really affordably, but the odds of you top decking something that's playable with the Death anyway that's meaningful, like a big Thanos or whatever, are pretty slim. So that is the right place to put the Death in that case. Just if you're going to close it out this early, you want to make sure you close it out with a high-powered play, which you do here. Is this really a loss? I feel like we're in such a good spot. That's a terrible final top deck, to be honest. I guess 13 right is definitely achievable. Darkhawk plus, oh, the Shang-Chi. Yeah, man. Shang-Chi's not very common in today's meta, but back then I think it probably was. That's actually another reason to hold the Death. I would probably want to, you know, I don't know what their deck list looks like exactly, but just given a Thanos deck, the odds of hitting a really powerful turn 6 play are so slim, especially when you've got some stones like Time Stone left in the deck, that maybe just holding the Death for the final turn dump is better to help dodge a sort of Shang-Chi kind of play. I guess would we still have had priority in that scenario? Probably, because the Carnage mid gives us priority. I don't think holding the Carnage mid would have been worth it just to lose a potential priority play. I think we would have had it anyway because of Chavez didn't even flip right. So yeah, maybe just a little bit unfortunate on the Shang-Chi. I don't think anything went crazy wrong this game. These locations were just a little bit weird to play towards, honestly. That made life a little bit awkward. Pretty hard call, pretty bad top deck. I think that's a reasonably well played game personally.